Fellow historians, welcome back, and you're welcome in advance. Tank Abbott is the proverbial gift that keeps on giving to this podcast, and this time he's come to set the record straight on some rumors about him perpetrated by Tito Ortiz, specifically from Tito's own autobiography entitled, This Is Gonna Hurt. Now, Tito was in the hospital. We wish him a full recovery. We don't hate Tito, and this episode was planned before his accident. Tito, however, did threaten to sue us for stories that were told about him on our podcast. So we're going to have a little fun with him in his own words. Our attorneys have told us we cannot be sued for directly quoting his book. So we will be quoting the book, and we will be getting Tank's response. It's a fun one. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the show. I am MMA insider and Herb Dean's dog sitter, Joey Venti, and you're listening to the MMA History Podcast, the only podcast dedicated 100% to the preservation of mixed martial arts history. Interviews and stories about the early days of MMA direct from the men who lived it. Hundreds of interviews, thousands of hours of research, all conducted by the most obsessed mind in the business, the MMA detective Mike Davis. Join us as we document the history of the sport we all love. Fellow historians, welcome back to the MMA History Podcast. I am Joey Venti here with the MMA detective Mike Davis. And back for part 4, we have once again David Tank Abbott. Tank Abbott and Tito Ortiz have many things in common. Among them, they are both published authors. Today, we're going to review Tito Ortiz's autobiography, This Is Gonna Hurt. David, thank you for being here.
So yeah, no, this is gonna hurt, right?
You know what? That's the thing. The title was a message to the reader because it was pretty painful to get through. But Tito threatened to sue us the first time we had you on because you were saying some bad things. So we figure we'll give his book a plug and we'll read his own words. You can't sue us for his own words, right?
No, absolutely. And wow. Anyways, didn't they get sued anyways by Dana for using the octagon on that thing? And he didn't write his book. He was ghostwritten. So I don't think
Mark Shapiro is the co-author, but
co-author, like what, is it in half of it in crayons?
But anyway. I do think Tank that Tito wrote some of this because there were a lot of names misspelled. So
let's let this thing roll out. Okay. First off, Tito's in the hospital right now. He's having surgery and he's recovering. So we're gonna take a positive look at this, and we're gonna move forward.
I would usually have empathy for most people, just about everyone, but he's on the short list of not people that I have empathy for. And I hope you're feeling better. How are those things that make your head big and huge and whatever the supplements you were taking to make your head so big that your neck got so weak and it got messed up?
So, Joey, what I think is on the back of the book, there's always like a quote from somebody. So why don't we
start with
let's have an earnest book review. Tank, please control yourself. Sorry, Joey.
Love him or hate him, Tito Ortiz is one of the most recognizable figures in mixed martial arts. This is a quote from the Tennessean. That's the review they put on the back. That's a legit publication.
I'm in Nashville right now. I mean, that's big time. That's big time. Sure. Is there any other quotes on the back?
That's the only quote on the back.
That's not good. All right. So how about the foreword? Because that kind of gives you a little bit of a taste of what the book is all about. Tank,
the
please,
prologue,
please.
Give me some truth. Just the first paragraph. When I was a kid, I had lots of dreams. I was 9 years old and running with friends who used to sniff glue all the time. In hindsight, it was a dumb thing to do. But back in the day, it's what kids did, and I was right there with them. When I would sniff glue, I would get really high and hallucinate. I would hallucinate that people were all around me taking my picture, saying, Tito, look this way, look that way. I would look up and see my name on a marquee. In big letters, it said Tito Ortiz. I had dreams, lots of dreams of growing up and being famous. I didn't know what being famous or being a star meant. I was 9 years old, but just thinking about it made me feel real good when the rest of my life was shit.
Now, Tank, would it surprise you to hear that Tito Ortiz was sniffing glue as a young child?
You know what? That doesn't surprise me in the least bit. Was eating paste too.
Dude.
And oh my God, I just had a visual of him laying in bed. See, I wrote my book, so I didn't have a ghostwriter or anybody else doing that with me. So I have a little bit of an idea about how to write a book, or at least how to write my book. And I could just imagine him laying in bed coming up with that, thinking he is just unbelievably bright to come up with something like that. That's that is. This is the first
Are you jealous?
Are you jealous, Tank?
Tank, are you jealous that he's got the balls to admit he sniffs glue as a child?
Yeah, and how does paste really taste? And did you cut your lip on those scissors? You know, you're probably feeding yourself with the scissors.
remember those?
Anyways, that's about par for the course of what I was expecting. Believe me, I have not seen. I've seen snippet pages that fans have sent me, pictures of the page, like, check this out. You're not gonna believe this.
It gets so good. It gets so good.
And it's that, but I didn't hear that. That was those were not even about me. That's awesome. I
believe that?
I can imagine his big globe head sitting on a pillow, rolling back and forth, going, "Oh, I remember when I was sniffing glue when I was 9 years old."
Tank,
not 9 days ago. 9 years old.
Tank, let me ask you something. Do you think he's lying for attention? Do you think this is fabricated in order to be cutting edge?
Well, that was very cutting edge. I will tell you this. Everything that Tito, in my dealings, everything about him is made up, is thought out. How is this going to be for me? Nothing's genuine or sincere. And, when I first, Paul brought him in my sphere of life. And I'm like, oh, poor little guy. He plays that role. He's had many years to figure it out. And, oh, poor me. And I was like, oh, whatever, give a guy a fair shake. But he used to tell me, I never realized that he knew he was going to be famous and be a rock star like that he was going to fight in the UFC. And I look at him and laugh and go, no, you're not. You're a pussy, man. I go, you are a puss. And he would get this look on his face. This happened like driving in my truck, driving him home. I go, you'll never fight in the UFC. And to me, he really hasn't fought in the UFC. They made up a whole. Dana was very generous, although he didn't have many options when his friends bought the show. He had to deal with what he was managers of. And so why not Tito, I guess? And so, wow. That's how he became something or somebody in the Ultimate Fighting. He's all made up, contrived. He's not a tough guy. He's never stomped the streets. He's never done any of that. Everything about Tito is all fabricated and made up, and that's just who he is. And it's unbelievable to me or it's actually believable. I don't think that's what he was thinking about when he was 9 years old sniffing glue. Like, I'm going to be famous someday.
I'm going to be honest with you. That was kind of shocking to me. I figured he was more of like a permanent marker sniffer than he was like
or paint. He might have been sophisticated.
Paint chips,
or gallons of paint. Pop the lid off. Hey man, this is Dunn Edwards, man. This is the good stuff. But
or hung out at the Sunoco, hey, dude, that's a 50,000 count, the thread count. That's my best huffing linen. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I spent a lot of money for that huffing linen.
Well, you know what? A lot of people, even the city of Huntington Beach, got fooled by him. Hey, I did. Dana did. I bet you Dana kicks himself in the pants every day. Going, man, I made that idiot a fool or a fool. Both of them. He's an idiot fool. I made him into something that he should have never, ever been.
Okay. All right. So I think we need to get a little bit more serious, Joey. I mean, this is kind of off to a rough start, being that Tito is in the hospital right now. So you talked about Tito kind of being a manufactured champion.
Absolutely. 100%. He could never fight. And when I was fighting in the octagon, absolutely not. Steve Jenim would have kicked his ass.
Okay.
And I don't really think Steve Jenim's all that good, or a bag of chips anyways. But he'd give Tito a fight, I'll tell you that.
All right. So the weight class originally for that belt was 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And Tito made that weight one time. And then Dana decided to move it to 205 pound. And it's been admitted it was due to the fact that that's what Tito Ortiz requested.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, though. This is how bright Tito is. Hey, we're going to make a weight class for you. What do you think about, that idea? He's probably like, yeah, thank God. I don't have to really fight grown men. It will hurt me. And trust me, I know Tito. He's not very strong. And anybody over 200 pounds, even the guys that fought him that were 200 pounds, I don't even know who he fought. But
I got the list.
The only one is Chuck Liddell that might be tough. The rest of them, I don't even know who they were, and I don't care. But if Tito beat you, even Shamrock couldn't take fucking steroids. And that speaks volumes of what a pussy Shamrock really is without steroids. To lose to Tito, I mean,
3 times.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I mean, the right there, that take everything that it just proves that is all a show, and that like Shamrock was a professional wrestler in Japan, and they call it pancrase. And all you goofballs out there like, oh yeah, pancrase, thinking you're like some esoteric fucking know-it-alls that know about fighting, when all that is professional wrestling in Japan. I know, because I've been in the corner. I've fought in Japan. I've done professional wrestling in Japan. I know pancrase. You don't. You just know the word and think it's, oh my God, Japan.
Okay.
All you
we got questions
dilettantes out there don't know shit.
Okay, let me throw some questions at you. Okay. So they Frank Shamrock vacates the belt. They move it up to 205. So when people will say, well, 170 to 185 is a huge weight difference. Like there should be a weight in between, or it should be spaced out 75, 85, 95, 205. But 185 to 205, it's a 20-pound weight difference between the two. And it's because of Tito Ortiz. It's the Tito Ortiz rule. Joey, that's next week's trivia question. All right. So Shamrock vacates, and Tito fights Wanderlei Silva, who's 1-1 at the time.
I'll tell you a little funny thing about that guy. I have no idea who he is. I don't care really. But I'm walking down Main Street, and I used to party there quite often. And you guys, like John McCartny likes to call me an alcoholic. Now that I've got these pages from his book saying he's a steroid user, better slow down there on the name calling with drugs when you're working a doctor for a fake prescription. What did you have? Gonad hypergonadism for any balls or something like that? And you're calling me an alcoholic? Where you ask me, my opinion is he's a drug addict wanting to be a tough guy. So anyways, I'm walking down the street. I used to drink at this bar there. It was right on Main Street. And I was going over to 7-Eleven. I used to like to go get some candy bars and stuff like that. I was on a strict diet. Anyways, I'm walking with, I used to carry this little ghetto blaster thing, and I was in a Barry White phase. Is that guy's name? Barry White? Oh, yep. Yeah, that guy is the singer.
Yep.
And so that's playing, and I had this thing on my shoulder. And Wanderlei Silva is walking down Main Street out of how many people in the world walking down Huntington Beach on Main Street? And I'm listening to Barry White. And he sees that it's me, and he stops. And he's looking at me like I am like some kind of mythic figure, just got shot down from God knows where with Barry White playing in my ear. Ooh, baby, baby, baby. And I'm like, hey, you're Wanderlei Silva. And he's like, it's broken Portuguese. And he walked off, and I think I scared him and shocked them all in the same thing. And I walked off, and I went, oh my God, that was like Eddie Reese on steroids. That guy's like the size, I don't want to get into something stupid, but he's a midget. I'm talking a midget. He's a little midget guy on steroids, like the size of Eddie Reese, but all jacked up on gas on steroids. And I was in like, and I'm like going, that's who's beating up all these 200-pounders that they're fighting. And did Tito fight him? Is that where we're going on this?
Yeah.
So Tito beat him.
So I mean, if I would have sneezed, I would have knocked him over. That's how small that guy is. And so you're going to try to tell me that's a belt fucking defense for you for sure. Might as well.
Okay.
That's like calling Eddie up to ask me to go fight somewhere.
Okay. So, and I'm just going to be very honest here. We've interviewed Chuck Liddell. We've interviewed several people, Babalu, obviously. And we've compared the list of people that Liddell was fighting at the time that Tito Ortiz had the belt, as well as who Tito was fighting for the title.
Yeah.
And my belief, which everybody up until this point, including Liddell, has said no, is my belief is that, well, Babalu said yes, but Liddell said no. And it was, I believe that Liddell was cleaning out the division, fighting the actual contenders, while Tito,
he was an actual fighter.
While Tito was getting handpicked opponents.
Yoki Kondo.
Here's
100% with your agreement with him. Yeah.
Okay. So like Wanderlei Silva is like 175, 180 pound fighter that's juiced up to 210, 215, 220.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
His
That's
next opponent,
that story up.
Right. His next opponent's Yuki Kondo, who's fought as low as 185. And Japanese fighters, they're not known for cutting weight. I think he actually weighed in under 200 pounds for this fight. And then you had Evan Tanner, Elvis Sinosek, Vlad Matyushko, Ken Shamrock, and then he loses to Randy Couture. Now, let me play the other side. At this exact same time, Chuck Liddell fought Jeff Monson, ADCC winner, solid wrestler. Kevin Randleman. Randleman is a coin toss. You don't know what Randleman's showing up. If he's either going to kill you or you're going to out cardio him and you're going to beat him. Guy Metzger, who beat Tito
You mean
once.
Gay Metzger.
Gay Metzger.
Okay. Murillo Bustamante, who definitely would have beat Tito, also a smaller guy, not a 205-pounder. Amar Suluev, who I think could have beat Tito. Vitor Belfort, Babalu, who did everything in his power, including questioning Tito's manhood, to his face on microphone. They would intentionally not put Babalu on because he was hurting the Tito Ortiz brand. It would not surprise me if Tito asked them not to put Babalu, give Babalu the microphone. And then Randy Couture, who he won and lost against.
He lost, or Randy lost to Tito?
Well, no, Liddell.
No, Chuck Liddell.
Those are all Chuck Liddell's opponents.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
So Chuck Liddell is fighting a murderer's row of the guys that should be fighting Tito for a title.
How did Randy get down to 200 pounds?
205? Yeah.
I thought he was the Mr. Natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the one thing
I've heard from the horse's mouth. No, I guess he'd be a horse, but that was just. But I've heard quite the contrary. But just look at his face. That says it all. His head.
So there was my question is kind of nah, bro. He cleaned out the division while you held the belt. Elvis Sinosek, great guy. Great guy.
Sure. Absolutely. I know exactly where you're going with this, but you got to realize Dana is a promoter, and for some reason, and they thought that Tito just was Mr. Charisma, and I don't get it. I never understood. I always thought he was a dumb kid, and really, you believe this kind of stuff about this guy? At this time, I was so long gone from fighting. I didn't even know any of this stuff was going down. I don't know any of this. I'm in my professional wrestling world. Best move I ever fucking made in my life. I mean, I finally found out what real money was. I wasn't fucking fighting for peanuts like I was doing. I mean, at least I made my name there, and I was able to cash in doing professional wrestling. But there's no money in it, and maybe there is now. Those guys making with McGregor and those Jones and those guys. That's the end of my names. I know, but they're making the dough now. But in those days, you fought for the love of it, and that's what a lot of it. I know Tito didn't have the love for it, and he's just cashing in.
All right, so this is about Tito's book, Tank. So I'm gonna read a review, and it's pretty good. Before we start the first chapter or the chapter that Joey first passage that he has. So this review was from the United States on May 24th, 2008. Who is the real Tito? I surely had no idea. He's a cocky on TV and gets badmouthed by other fighters in interviews and in their books. It turns out Tito is a father, an actor, a serious businessman, and an entrepreneur on top of being one of the UFC's biggest names. Tito's biography is one you won't soon forget. He lets it all out and talks about his crazy childhood and MMA career. This book is easy to read and definitely clears up some of the rumors about him that we MMA fans often hear. Good book, great stories for any Tito Ortiz fan and all MMA fans. Does that sound like?
That's not the Tito I know. And the whole time when he's saying all this, I'm going, oh, so you bought all this bullshit? It's all a con. They got this. Tito is a con man. Like I told you, if he was smart, he'd be like that carpet cleaner guy, man. He would have made some real money. But he's just then the guy that got suckered the most and was bankrolling him and pushing him. He stabs him in the back. Duh! What the hell? What? Oh my God! You're really a nobody. You're a retrobate, and you're a scumbag. But this guy is helping you out and doing all this stuff, And gee, let's see here. If I didn't know this guy, I would be screwed. I would be a nobody. But you know what? I'm going to stab him in the back because he's not paying me what I should get. What the hell do you think you should have got? Are you kidding? Kidding me?
Yeah. He did screw over Dana. He for sure did. Yeah. He did.
Well,
all he had to do was keep his mouth shut. He had to keep his mouth shut. That's all he had to do. He had it made. And Dana managed him. Dana actually managed him.
100%. I like, who does that? Like, this guy, regardless if he has his own motives, which he probably did. So what? He used you, but he helped you out so much.
So look at the names I just read. Look at the names of the opponents he read as compared to Liddell.
Yes. So
well, here, this is about Tito's book. We don't want to get too far away from this. And wait. For our hardcore historians, we're probably going to review one Tank fight just to keep us honest. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you want another early Tito chaos passage, or should we?
I think you just go in chronological order of how they appear in the book.
I'm going to turn the light on. I'm listening. Go ahead.
My mother became a lady of the evening.
Wait. I want to see
Tank there.
I got to see Tank's face on this one. Yeah, no, Tank. I'm
okay. Yeah,
Tank. You can leave
in the dark again.
No. We got to see your face when some of this stuff is read. Okay, Joey.
It's so touching.
All right,
I'm sorry.
My mother became a lady of the evening when I was 8 years old. My father was barely working and wasn't bringing in much money. So he had my mother, started talking to her about going with men for money, and eventually my father pushed her into it. My mother would have never wanted to become that kind of woman, but at the time, for them, it seemed like there was no other way to support their drug habit. Now, the very next paragraph...
Wait. Let's digest this. Let's digest this, dude. Holy shit.
It is dark.
I'll even step back. I won't even go there. I doubt it's true, but let's just say on face value that it's true. That's unfortunate.
That's
very sad.
Okay, wait. You just said you don't think it's true. Joey,
what's his next passage is his mother's response saying, I don't know why you said that. I know I made a lot of decisions, but I never slept with men for money. I would go with men, play games with them, and then rip them off. But as far as laying down with men for money, no, I ripped them off. They left with no money, but they left without me too. So there was two sides of the story.
Well, now that answers the story. Now we know where it flows through the bloodline. At least you ripped them off, right? Oh my God. Could have gave him a reach around.
You're gonna take the money, you might as well give him something.
While you're grabbing the wall, give him a reach around.
So Tank, do you ever talk to like a woman where they're like, well, every single thing that you're saying is true, except I didn't sleep with him? It's like, oh, okay, I believe you. You know?
I don't think that I've listened to a woman that long for it gets to the point. At least I didn't sleep. Okay, just cut right there. We don't.
Yeah.
You're duly noted in the comment file. Don't worry about it.
But in all honesty, like when you met Tito, did you get the feeling that he was from a troubled home?
No. He was like a slickster, timid little kid, scared. But you could tell to keep your guard up and watch your wallet. Obviously, I didn't watch it close enough. I actually thought about it, but I had no idea. I couldn't fathom that a blank checkbook would be that something that you would be drawn to. You know what I mean? I thought I'd be whatever. Who's gonna do that? I guess we found out.
That's kind of low end, man. I guess
that's really low end.
And not only is it low end, like they always write down the driver's license of, like, for people at home that have never written checks, probably not much of our audience hasn't. They'd always write down the driver's license number on the top of the check. So like in case in instances of fraud, it'd be very easy to.
It was made out to his brother, and so his brother cashed it. So that's
like,
how it went down. And then with a signature, my business name was an acronym of my initials, Enterprises, and that's how he signed the check, DLA Enterprises. I'm like, it's what marched it into the bank. I said, what the fuck is this? And they went, oh, wow, sorry. Do you know who did this? And I go, yeah, his name's Jacob Ortiz. And they're like writing it all down. And I'm like, whatever. And they're going, well, you're going to press charges. I go, do what you got to do. They go, we're going to give it to our fraud department. Never heard another thing from them. So all I'm thinking is that they went to Marty, who's his half brother, whatever. Eddie's the one that told me about it. We were sitting there at the table. He goes, that's his half brother. And I knew who Marty was. And I'm like going, yeah. And it's all making sense. And it was right before the Hugo Duarte fight. I was wrestling with Stephen Neal up in Bakersfield. And I was like, oh, that's why he was sitting in my fucking truck. Oh, everything just, those like epiphany moments coming to you, like boom. Oh, it all makes fucking sense now. That's exactly what went down. And I was just like, oh my. And I just kept that under my hat for the longest time. And I think we'll get to it in a little while from the pictures that were taken. So we'll get back to that.
Okay,
I kept that between myself and that's it. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't say anything at that point in time. I just went, what a scumbag. And then that's when Eddie started telling me, because I had a guy that he's passed away now. He's a cool dude. And he floored out my whole garage and put like a weight room custom with machines and all the shit in there. And anyways, I don't know how I got off on that. Oh, so people would come over to my house. I'd just go open up the swing door and you can work out. So Eddie went there with Tito one time. And he said that this is Eddie telling me, he goes, oh yeah, you just walk in your house and fucking grab shit and say, oh fuck, Dave doesn't care. And I was like,
Dave's cool. He's cool.
Yeah,
he lets us run through his entire house,
and
eating and drinking wherever we want.
Eddie's kind of like just, he's challenged. He's a great guy. I love the dude, but he's not the brightest bulb in the tree. But that doesn't make you a good bad person, or a good person.
Yeah, of course.
And he's like, that's the first thing I would have told me if I went there with Tito and he was walking in my house and doing all this shit, and I would go, hey Dave, do you know that guy's doing that? And Andy goes, I just thought it was like, whatever, you didn't care. I was like, are you fucking? He's telling me all this over when the check thing was going down. It's like, yeah, and he comes over to your house and he'll go in your bar. I had this big bar in there. It was a track home, but it was paid for. I paid it off, and the inside was nice. So the mortgage was great. And, I could go hold a cardboard box up, say I'll fight for food, and be able to pay my mortgage. But the point is, it was a nice house. He's gone into my house, going into my bar, taking booze bottles and shit like that. And he's like, hey, man, like, that's Dave's. And he's all, man, he don't care. And Eddie's like, I didn't know. I didn't. He's telling me all this stuff. I'm just like, oh my God. So I just kept it under my hat. I started doing professional wrestling. I was away from Dave Thomas and the whole group of. Dave Thomas had visions of grandeur, that he was going to be some agent or something like that, and he was going to cash in on on starting clothing lines. That's how the punishment clothing line started. He finally found somebody dumb enough to believe his bullshit, me and Tito. Yeah. And so they all of that went down, and that's all the stuff that was going down at Tito. I was starting professional wrestling. I was moved along. You know, once you financially and everything else, there's a huge divide. Like, hey, yeah, you know, before it was like, hey, you want to go party? Let's go to the bar and do whatever. And compared to, hey, man, let's fucking fly down to East Cape down in Mexico and go fucking marlin fishing for the weekend. What? Okay, do that. And you're like, oh, I guess it's right. And then those guys get tired of you fucking, you know, shoveling the bill the whole time. They're like, you know, after a while, if you have any self-respect, you're like, no, I don't want to go. So there was a divide, and those guys were left behind, if you will. And that's when Tito was coming in on his own, and it was like, oh, fuck Dave. He thinks he's a superstar now. We're all going to attach our bullshit to Tito's car and ride with him. And pumping that dumbass full of stuff. And they all those fools, and I say that very lightly, all of them were all just trying to work hustles and all that kind of crap. And I was long gone.
Okay. Joey, out of curiosity, how long did it take you to get through this book?
Knocked it out in a weekend.
Okay.
It's about 200 pages.
So a review written on July 7th, 2008 says, I read it in an hour. It wasn't really much other than a superficial look at him. Maybe he is so superficial. So that was all that could be expected. I felt that he should have had a ghostwriter because it was just too elementary written to be gripping enough. I would wait for this to come out in paperback or check it out from a library. Not worth spending money on. Damn. Joey, next passage.
That was sharp. Okay.
That's amazing. He had a ghostwriter.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, there's just no way that guy could put a sentence together, much less write anything.
You know, to kind of, I'm not trying to pile on, but
how could you not?
Paul Herrera was his wrestling coach.
We're getting into him next.
Okay. Then why don't we wait then? Go ahead, Joey.
Okay. I finished my sophomore year with a 3.46 grade point average. Want to know what I did? Want to know what I did for summer vacation? I stole a car and went to jail. It goes into his time in jail for 40 days.
No. Keep reading. We want to. Tank and I are on the edge of our seat. Don't summarize.
The way it went down, my friends and I used to go up and down the street and see if cars were open. We'd get in there and take the change, the stereos, the speakers, anything we could get out of the car and sell. This one time, I had been drinking with some friends and we hit this car. I pulled down the visor and the keys dropped right in my lap. I decided to take it for a cruise. Started the car, drove it around for a while. It was a stick shift. I didn't know how to drive a stick shift, so I was grinding the shit out of it while driving well enough to get around. After a while, I pulled into my friend Eric's driveway, but I couldn't stop, and I ended up slamming into his aunt's car. Instead of calling my parents, Eric's family called the cops. The cops arrested me for grand theft auto. I went to court, found guilty, sentenced to 39 days in juvenile hall.
So Tank, even though Tito said that he was going to sue us because you defamed him, saying that the first time you met him, he was in a stolen car. You know, of course, that's not true. But in his own book, he talks about this.
I thought Tank was going to mention something about his 3.46 grade point average.
Yeah, the reel that they show on TV where he's doing really good because of wrestling. He had to clean up his act, and his GPA was like at a 1.4. I'm paraphrasing all the stuff, reciting his brilliance. Man, and you know what? To me, it's like I didn't buy that much of bullshit from him. I got ripped off, but compared to Dana, but Dana got ripped off. The city of Huntington Beach got ripped off. He's a con man. He's not tough by any means. His claim to fame is his run in amateur wrestling at junior college level because he was 2 years older than everybody else, which is a huge, huge advantage. Yeah. Then he goes to Bakersfield, and he it all equals out, and he doesn't Chael beat him, and I think he pinned him. I don't know.
He did.
And then, but then because he's such a bad person, he gets run off the team. I go there, innocent as all could be, just to go. You know how awesome that is to be able to wrestle with the NCAA division champion that beat Brock Lesnar, and you get to go wrestle with him, not just one time in a happenstance way, but like more than a few. That's awesome. You that kind of exposure pulls your game up so much more. And I couldn't believe it. It was awesome. And what happens? A coach comes up to me and goes, "Hey, that guy's a dirtbag. Your friend?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, he's not my friend. Like, I just know who he is. I'm just using him to fucking come up here to wrestle." And he's all, "Can you talk to him?" And I said, "I'll try." I fucking said, "Hey, Tito, man, you need to clean your act up, dude." The coach told me about his little runoff in the car so he could go eat food when they're all supposed to be cutting weight. It just, he's a reprobate, man. I mean, it's simple as that. Okay. Go look it up. You'll see a picture of himself.
So would you ever call Paul Herrera and just say, "Hey, Paul," because Paul is the one that introduced you guys. Paul was a teacher at his school. Would you ever just say, "Hey, Paul"? I mean,
well,
are we all wasting our time here?
Certain times, I keep things to myself, and I for the most part, I try to. But like I had, just like everybody else, I had a girlfriend that used to cheat on me all the time. She slept with all my friends, slept with my acquaintances, slept with my enemies. I kind of had an idea. Yeah, I knew it was going on, but I was like, let's keep it under my hat. Just like whatever, till I couldn't take it any longer. Same thing with Tito. I kept it under my hat for the longest time. And the time Paul, it's in the book where he calls me, because this is a little thing that they sign up. He tells Paul that, he was trying to get money from me. Not only did he steal from me, then he's looking at getting in trouble, and he wants me to give him money to go see an attorney. And I'm like,
wait, Tank, that's next. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. All right. So, Joey, this review was written on August 17th, 2008. Ryan Andretti wrote, "I regret buying this book. How this book has managed to get 4 stars is to this point is beyond me. I was never a huge fan of Tito, but after reading this book, I absolutely hate him. He's full of more excuses than someone who has a lot of excuses. If you liked The Iceman, you'll hate this book. Tito has the mentality of an 8-year-old and is about as well spoken as President Bush. I wish I could return this book because I want to have no part of it in supporting such a complete and total moron." Tank, 8 people found that helpful. Like they tell you, like, if you thumbs up it, like, "Oh, this really helped me. I'm not going to buy this book." 8 people gave that, say, "Yeah, this helped me out."
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, he did it to me. He did it to Dana. He did it to the city of Huntington Beach. and well, he is what he is, man. He's got that flash, and then everything just starts falling apart. Like he builds a sand castle.
Yeah,
it looks good for like a second or two, and then the water starts coming, and it all starts crumbling and falling away, and then you start going, "What the fuck was that about?" He's a fucking like Jimi Hendrix. Castle's made of sand. Has nothing to do with that, but whatever.
Joey.
Paul Herrera took over as my wrestling coach my junior year. He was like a big brother to me. He was like the dad I never had. He'd wake me up for school in the morning, made sure I kept my grades up and I stayed eligible. That year, we were first in league and second in CIF. But once wrestling season was over, I went back to being a hood. It does sound like he had a lot of respect for Paul Herrera. I think Paul Herrera did put a lot of effort into him.
Well, Paul likes that role, and he is Paul's a genuine guy like that, and he likes to help people out, and he probably thought he was helping him out. But Tito's beyond that. He's not repairable, and Paul has a lot of good in his heart, and I'm sure he's learned over the years that it doesn't pay off, and I'm sure Tito taught him that lesson.
Wait. Let's Joey. Having a lot of good in your heart doesn't pay off. That's Tank Abbott. That's
good.
Tank Abbott.
The more you know.
There it is. There's your Tank Abbott quote. That should be on the back of the book.
Yeah. Having a good heart doesn't pay off.
So when we had Paul Herrera on, there's a couple fighters. I don't want to say who the other fighter is. It's definitely going to come up in a future interview, and it's not going to surprise anybody, but it will, but it won't. So we asked Paul, was Tito in? Because Paul was a teacher at his school. And so we're like, what kind of classes was Tito in? And he said, Tito was in special needs.
Yeah. That's Paul being a nice guy. But he was in special ed courses, man. And I don't know this, because this is all what I think. I'm not going to, can't say I'm saying this. This is just what I think. So I think he's originally from Santa Ana, and he was in the Santa Ana school district. And he was so far behind that they didn't have classes for him, and they wouldn't put him back. That's because of his age.
They do that in Chicago. Yeah.
Well, so they did.
Yeah.
He had to go to Huntington because Huntington did that. And so Paul was at Huntington High School, Paul was his special ed teacher.
So what you're saying is that the classes, he didn't qualify to go to.
I moved to Huntington Beach when my dad graduated from college, and he moved here from New Mexico. I moved to Huntington Beach in 1975. So I'd been there forever. And Tito was in Santa Ana the whole time, the Huntington Beach bad boy, which he stole from me with that little Mexican imp. What's his name? Joe Silva, the guy that doesn't know his head from his ass. They thought it'd be funny to start calling him the Huntington Beach bad boy. I was off professional wrestling. Call yourself Tank Abbott. I don't give a rat's ass. And they went off and did that thing. And Tito has nothing to do with Huntington Beach. And he's all this, HB for life, and this is great. He's an idiot. He doesn't even know anything.
So what you're saying is, in the public school system, if the district that you live in can't meet your need, they definitely have the ability and consistently have shown to ship people to areas that have whatever courses.
Right. And I think his mom moved apartments and moved there. I don't know the specifics. Like I told you, don't quote me on this. This is just what I think. This is all I think. And I think that I've heard that before. And just like we were talking earlier about timing this show up, and I'm like going, wow, that's a weird date. I don't know what it is in the back of my head saying, watch out, don't say yes. And I said yes anyways to do it. But then I found out, oh fuck, I got to work out that day. There was something floating in back in my consciousness. And that's the same kind of thing with this. It's floating back there that I've heard it from someone somehow that he was in Santa Ana. I know he was in Santa Ana because I've heard him talk about it. But I don't know the specifics how he ended up in Huntington other than he went to this junior high and that would take him. Have you ever seen the reel where he's all like talking about where he's going to school and he's like, oh, I was 15. He always screws his numbers up. He's I was 15 when I was going to college, and then I was 31 in seventh grade, and then I was going there. Well, he screwed up the dates because it was 89 and 90. The reason why he got all gargled up in his head is because he was held back, I think, his 8th grade. So he didn't know, he couldn't correspond in time the years. So he was like trying to think on his feet, but he has trouble thinking anyways about anything. And so he's like going, yeah, 89, yeah, that's 7, 9, 90. And they're like going, what the fuck's he talking about? And everybody giggles and laughs and writes their little things about it. But that's what he was getting hung up on, is because he was moving from Santa Ana because of his grades were so bad.
Daniel J. Proctor gives this book 5 stars. Careful, he's cocky. It was an easy read and a short book. Tito is kind of cocky, surprise, surprise, and at times come off as a real joke, but the book itself is pretty informative, and it gives a one-sided opinion of how Dana and Tito's feud started. However, if Tito's telling the truth, then it sheds new light on just what an egomaniac Dana really is. It's not a bad book if you're into MMA, and especially if you're a Tito Ortiz fan.
Yeah. And isn't Tito just the perfect victim? He is so predictable. He plays a victim role. Oh, poor me. Oh.
Joey, I think every 5-star review is either like the publishing company, if there is one. Is there a publishing company? It should be like on whoever he hired has probably got like
Simon Spotlight Entertainment.
So you got to assume that, like, if they're worth anything, that they're gonna flood it with a couple fake reviews. That one was in all caps too.
Yeah,
that's an interesting name too.
Joey,
we're getting into the Tank stuff. All right,
here we go. This
is
why the people are here, dude.
Not long after wrestling season, Paul Herrera got a hold of me and said there was this ultimate fighting guy named Tank Abbott who was looking for someone to train with. Would I be interested? Paul suggested that since I was doing so well in college, I might be interested in giving mixed martial arts a try. I hadn't really given it much thought. I was doing well on the amateur ranks, but I wasn't planning on turning pro, nor was I being asked to. So I figured as long as this guy Tank didn't hurt me, I guess I could train with him. So I went and worked out with him for a few weeks. At the time, I thought Tank was a pretty cool guy. I was his wrestling partner, and that was it. We didn't put on the gloves and spar. We just did jujitsu and wrestling, so I didn't have to worry about him punching or kicking me. He really didn't take too well to the wrestling part of mixed martial arts. I was taking him down at will, and he was getting frustrated. Wrestling was his weakness, and he took what I was trying to teach him grudgingly.
Joey,
your opinion.
Joey, do you believe that Tito took Tank down so many times that Tank is still pissed today about this?
Okay. I looked up Tank, and apparently Tank placed in California State at junior college, placed 6th. And we know he was bench pressing 600 pounds right around this time. So take him down at will. It might be an exaggeration, but I want to hear what Tank has
Tank,
to say.
Please, Tank.
Oh, are you kidding me? It's like, Tito, I slapped around like a little boy, and he actually cried with tears. And Tito could not hold a candle to me on the mat. I'm going to sit here and say all this stuff, but listen, I could have gone way further in amateur wrestling. My sophomore year, right before my sophomore year, I got in a car accident on my 19th birthday. That's where all my teeth got knocked out.
That's in the book.
Yeah, my knee was mangled. My arm was mangled. I didn't start wrestling in my sophomore year till it had already begun. I just started wrestling maybe the September-ish, and it just wasn't there. So I don't cry about it. I don't care. It was like my dream to go on and wrestle big time NCAA stuff, but it didn't happen. So you move on. That's how life works. And through that, I ended up going into the boxing gym and going there. But as far as wrestling with Tito, and why would I go all the way up to Bakersfield to wrestle with Stephen Neal when I didn't even lay a finger on Tito in Bakersfield? Because why? First of all, why would I go all the way up to Bakersfield just to wrestle with the heavyweight? And if Tito's taking me down at will and fucking me up and making me cry and all that kind of stuff.
He was trying to teach you, he said.
I mean, Tank, maybe you just couldn't learn.
That guy's going to teach me. I started while he was out sniffing glue. I was wrestling was AAU matches on the weekends, and my dad was a football coach. Everything about me, these people like to make up these stories about me, like being some cigarette smoking, beer drinking bar brawler that you saw on fucking Deliverance. No, I come from a athletic. Everything in my house, everything was football, and wrestling came after my brother was a freshman. And my dad's all, you got to do another sport to my brother. So my brother went out to wrestling, and he's like 5 years older than me. I was like 10 years old. I followed him into the wrestling room, and it was like, oh, this is fucking great. And then I'm wrestling. I'm wrestling all these little fucking ankle biters that you see out today. They're fighting the UFC. Those guys that you cough hard enough that would fall over. And so I'm 10 years old wrestling these 106-pound guys in high school at what, 8, 9, 10 years old. And my dad would pay those kids money to train me afterwards. And Tito's teaching me fucking 10 years later. Some dumb guy that can't count to 10 is going to tell me about a double leg. And he wrestled at Golden West College. Yep. And my dad played football there. He coached football there. And so I had a key to the wrestling room. And I had been going into that room. They had open rooms ever since I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I'd be wrestling in there with all those guys. And thank God, see, like I after all my physical troubles that I've had with my strokes and all this stuff, I've come to the realization or my own beliefs that everything is written in this life, and whatever happens, happens because it's written that way. And so I would go in there and wrestle. And these guys, they dropped the program when I was a senior. And out of everything, that I was stuck in this little bubble in Huntington Beach of wrestling. There was this group of Huntington Beach wrestlers, and they all didn't know their head from their ass with the technique of wrestling. They were all gung-ho and into it. But as far as a solid technical takedown, as far as a double or a single, a high C, all that kind of stuff, they didn't know their head from their ass. And those coaches, they're two little fucking worms, the little ankle biter guys. I won't even say their names, but they're little guys, and they were the coaches there. And they were friends with my dad, or they were friendly with him. And so by luck, they dropped the program my senior year in high school. And I was like, holy fuck, where am I going to fucking wrestle now? The phone rings. It's Ray Haas from Cypress Junior College. That guy solely is responsible for teaching me how to wrestle and actually telling me the fundamentals behind a double leg takedown and what you're supposed to do.
The
And
art.
instead of some football fucking stupid tackle they would teach me when before. And they used to, I used to make a joke like Paul went to Golden West, but Paul was a natural phenomenon, and he was started wrestling when he was a kid, so he didn't have anything to learn. And so, but I would always make a joke about they would always do this stand up, and they call it the fin out, and it's like the most ridiculous fucking thing you ever seen. And I go, oh yeah, do the fin out, and Paul would, and they. It was kind of like a joke of making fun of those guys, and thank God that happened to me, because I went and learned how to wrestle. I went to my freshman year. That meet that I had, the state meet, they have the little podiums at the end where they take the pictures of it. Every single one of those guys on top of those on the higher level that I placed fifth. Every one of those guys I beat during the year at tournaments, every single one of them. And I was gung ho, ready to go. I should have won my senior year, but I was out partying with a fucking idiot on my fucking 19th birthday and ended up wrapped around a light pole. They're lucky, like they couldn't believe I was still alive.
Yeah.
But who cares? That's the way it goes. That's life. You keep fucking moving, left foot in front of the right. And so I didn't wrestle. But as far as learning how to wrestle and opening my eyes, it's not like, oh, this is how you do it. They show you the principle. Ray would show you the principle behind it, why it works, and what you're trying to do, and then you could apply the principle to the move, as opposed
or
to
any
just
other move. Yeah, or any
right.
other move.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was.
The fine art of
Yes,
wrestling.
absolutely.
Yes,
And
the
none of
science.
those, right. And none of those other guys, these two little, they were just collecting checks at the junior college, and I can't blame them. They didn't know their head from their ass. They're pretty pathetic, actually. And you know what? If I would have went there, oh my God, if I would have went there and wrestled, it would have been nice because my dad was the coach there. I was close to my house, be easy. But if I would have gone there, I would have learned how to wrestle my way out of a wet paper bag. It'd be terrible. I'd be like, oh my God, I was tough as nails, but I didn't know how to fucking wrestle. And I was wrestling since I was fucking 8 years old, doing grab ass with fucking ankle biters at 106 pounds in high school. They used to beat me up big time. I'd like to
So
see him now. There's one guy named Ernie. If I to this day, I'd walk up and smack him upside the head. So you remember when I was a little 10-year-old kid? Whack! How do you like it?
well, I'd like to maybe have a little levity here and have a 5-star
Did I go
review.
off?
How about a 5-star review, Joey? It's a short and easy read. Don't waste your money on this book. Written at a 3rd grade reading level, you can sit at Borders and tear through this thing in an hour or two. Numerous references about his t-shirt company and his obsession with money, rips into Dana White while touching on his upbringing and relationships with Janet Jameson. Clearly a book to make money since there are countless filler quotes by his mother, ex-wife, and Jenna. Save your money. That's a 5-star review. This guy actually gave it 5 stars, and then here you go.
Well, that's the product of Tito saying, "Give me a 5-star review. Just say whatever you want, but give me a 5-star review."
Yeah, we tried that.
He's just whatever. Like I said, it's like you want to talk about him. It's like shooting a fish in a barrel. He's just a dumbass. He pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. And, like I said, usually I would have empathy for somebody crying on a fucking internet going, "Oh, my poor neck." All I could do was laugh and go, "Oh, I wonder if I should have taken them fucking things that make my head grow." And what about all the stuff that I did that was bad? Is it all fucking karma coming back to you? He's like a money grubber, and you put money grubbers with other money grubbers. Oh my God, it makes you fucking sick inside. I'm sorry, but I'm not driven by money. Somehow money seems to find me. I don't find it. And that's fine. But those guys are just like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." They're like working a hustle. Like McCartny, he's like that guy. He's a money grubbing, make up a fucking persona clown, and Tito's just all right along with him. And when you told me you were going to do this thing, I go, "How perfect is this?" 2 dumbasses. You think he's smart? I don't know how you fucking come up with that. He's a fucking moron, just like Tito is. And those two guys are 2 peas in a pod. Tito the ref and Tito the fucking wannabe fighter. And all you fucking guys that think he's tough,
Joey,
dumbasses.
Joey, let's get to the book, Joey. This is we never thought this would go down this road.
Speaking of molding a persona, Tank Tito talking about Tank, but he taught me a lot about molding the persona of a fighter. He taught me that if you talk smack, when it comes down to fight time, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. You talk the smack to make people either love you or hate you. Once they love you or hate you, they'll talk about you. If they stop talking about you, then you've got problems. He learned that from you, Tank.
Yeah. And that, you know what? That's exactly
solid advice.
That's exactly what I did. I was watching UFCs. I go, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make up a persona and I'm going to do this. You know what? I'll talk like that and I'll do that. And then I'll be able to make money."
Hey, Tank, let me tell us the truth. Did you like put a plastic bag over your head to hallucinate and then come up with like the Tank Abbott persona? Yeah, I mean, it's better than glue.
I was going to say, it was glue, but you beat me to the punch, man.
I'm sorry.
Like McCartney says the same fucking goddamn thing. Like, let's make, like, I saw the fucking shows on TV. Pay-per-view. I actually had the stolen cable boxes from the climb up the at the house we were renting.
Those screws. Yep.
Yeah, with 2 other guys, college people. I was in my late 20s, but I was still at college. I was a forever college student, man. I found my groove. Partying every night, going to school, fucking it was on. But I was watching it going, "Oh, fuck." And then the Samoan fucking tooth flew out. And I saw that Gracie's and I'm like going, "Oh, fuck, are you kidding me? I fucking just picked that guy up with one arm and just knocked the living fuck out of him. You can try to do everything you want." I fucking kill that guy. You know, it's just dumb, ignorant. And so, and I was like, I want to do that. Just not like, oh my God, if I do that, people will know my name. Oh my God, they'll think I'm a tough guy. Guess what? Everybody knew I was a tough guy. And I was a tough guy in my town. Everywhere I went, there was like, watch out for that guy, he'll fuck you up. Don't they used to have the dead grunion, actually, the red onion. Mm-hmm. And then Huntington Harbor down there. And every Tuesday there was like, night, taco night, just every special night. But we would go there at closing time because all the drunk idiots come walking out and they all think they're tough, and we would beat them up. It was like a mini riot every night in that parking lot, Peter's Landing. It was like, okay, let's go down there. We would have like a 12-pack and we'd sit in the cars and just wait for the people to come out.
All right,
and we would beat their asses.
So there's a guy that's an absolute friend of the show named Timmy Ford. And Timmy Ford said that John Matua, his question is, John Matua was a bouncer in Huntington Beach. And the rumor was that you two got into a fight at some point.
No, I've never known who he was. I heard he worked at Cowboy Boogie and all that kind of stuff. Never knew who he was. Never laid eyes on him. I laid eyes on him the time I was picking up a application. Well, backpedal a little bit. Back when I wanted to get into the UFC, I didn't want to get into fame or money or anything else. I wanted to just go in there and kick their fucking asses, show them what fucking real fighting was. That was my motivation. That was my paradigm. That's how I looked at it. Now, when I was trying to get in it, and that's when Dave Thomas, I was working for his dad at his cut and sew facility at a halfway house. And I was doing my time there. And Dave knew me from the streets, from fucking fighting. So he set up a meeting and started talking to these guys. And this guy named Alexander Bear or something like that, like a ginger-looking dude, red hair. And he had one of those stupid little dojo places with the blue carpet and the shit. And they told us to go fucking there to get an application. I think Art Davey told them. And so we went there, and ironically, it was my first fight, but ironically, I was there with another friend of Dave's. His name's Shay. He lives in Maui nowadays. I see his things on the internet. Anyways, so we're sitting there, and Dave goes in to give me an application to fill out because this is, martial arts and all the shit. And the whole time I'm going, they're never going to let me fucking fight. I'm not a fucking martial artist. And he comes walking out, and he had the Samoan strut, if you will. Big old, they're kind of like whatever, lumpy, big asses and stuff like that. And I'm like, and then my friend goes, oh, you're going to fight that guy. Totally just out of the fucking blue. And I'm like, good, I'll fucking kill that motherfucker. And Shay's like, that guy? You kill that guy? I go, fuck yeah, I will. In a heartbeat. And he's like, I don't know, man. That guy's pretty fucking big and scary looking. I'm going, man, you don't know. Anyways, that's the only time I laid eyes on him until we got to Casper, Wyoming. And once again, it's all fucking written. What was the very first fight of the fucking show? Everybody was sick and tired of this fucking jiu-jitsu commercial. And Meyerowitz had just bought the fucking show. And so they didn't know. So they got the guy, the unskilled, he doesn't know anything about martial arts, thinks he's a street type tough guy. and they're the martial artist, the bone breaker's going to teach me a lesson. Yeah. I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm gonna teach you a fucking lesson about real fucking fighting. And we all saw what happened.
Joey.
Yeah. So that as far as ever seeing him anywhere else like that, like I said, there's a big Samoan contingency in Westminster. They went to Westminster High School. They are friends with my brother, my dad. They all played football. They're all cool people, still are. I haven't seen those guys in decades, but they're all cool people. They were never like, oh, you know, and just even like John Matua. I really have any animosity personally towards that guy. I was just sick and tired of all this fucking jujitsu bullshit. I still am. I still am today because of this jujitsu bullshit. It's just because you take a jujitsu class, like I was telling Rogan, doesn't make you fucking tough. Hoist Gracie won because he was tough, not because he knew how to do jujitsu. So, anyways, so I was mad at those guys, and I was all set up to be the fucking pigeon to show the world what happens to the big, bad, scary martial artist guys. They're going to take the street tough guy that really knows how to fight and show you he's going to break your neck.
So
I broke his face.
Tank, on April 3rd, 2011.
Yes, sir.
A review was written saying, I got this book from the library and I'm glad I didn't pay for it. The main problem is that the protagonist, Tito himself, comes off as an arrogant jerk whose head can barely fit through a doorway. His moral compass is in dire need of a tune-up. Then again, I can't recall if he had any integrity to start with. He's a loud, crass, and a serial womanizer. At one point, he actually praises his girlfriend, a porn star, as the smartest person he knows. If your morals are in the trash can and you see women as objects to be used and abused, this might be the story for you.
That's pretty accurate right there, man.
Joey?
Yeah, hey, there's a lot of cheating. Yeah.
Seriously, though, but you know what? You give him a little stroke for scoring Jenna Jameson, not in her looks, but she afforded him to stay in a house in the harbor forever because that was her house. And then he got child support. It's about now that's coming to an end. That's why he's popping his head back up. It's like, holy shit, I'm gonna have to do something. His little taco shop ain't going too well, I guess.
Yeah, she moved to Hawaii and she had to pay Tito child support. Tito got child support. Like,
for two of them. So he's getting a lot of money for them.
I mean, Tank, you talk about, he got over on this person, got over on that person, got over on this person.
Yeah.
Like, I know people like to make fun of his intelligence, but he continuously gets over on people, including Jenna Jameson.
I'm telling you, I don't get it. And he gets over on you guys on these comment clowns that already shit about him and Vitor Belfort. They all think they're fucking witty. Like, Vitor Belfort jiu-jitsu. And they talk about steroids. You know what? The guy takes steroids. If you took steroids out of the fucking picture, he would be nothing. You wouldn't even know who he was. He's got great hands. You have to give him that. And I don't know if he does without steroids, but he has good hands. He caught me. Big deal. But these guys live by proxy through other fighters. And they think there's a bunch of comment clowns. If you look them up, they're all little fucking pipsqueak ankle biters. And it's amazing. It is totally amazing, this internet bullshit. Because you think any of these guys would even say a fucking word back in my day when I was growing up?
No.
You get the shit smacked out of you. And so, Oh my God, you little fucks. And they're fucking, there's one guy I looked up and he was kind of accessible. He kind of wasn't. He has like these Conor McGregor tattoos and he does this little metamorphosis of when he started off with steroids or before steroids and afterwards. Both of them looked fucking pathetic. And it's like, and he's got the tattoo, the fucking thing and everything. I don't follow Conor McGregor that much. I don't know the man. I'm happy for his success, whatever. But as far as these little clowns, the comment clowns saying this shit, just boggles the brain, man. You guys, and then the people always ask me because I've been in over 200 altercation street fights. That's not hyperbole. That's not fucking making up fucking phony stories and numbers. That's cut down to the bare minimum. And I'm telling you, there's probably more, but I'm safe to say at least 200 times. And not one of you little fucking mouths, the big mouths on the fucking phone, they all are the internet. They all say, oh, how, if you're not a bully, how do you get in all these fights? Why don't you read the comments, you fucking idiots? Those comment clowns are the same big mouths that I smacked around on the streets.
Joey.
Okay. I started training with Tank. I started training with Tank late in 1997. Training for my first fight took 6 months. We would practice wrestling and jiu-jitsu. We'd do a little bit of sparring like boxers do. We'd run and lift weights. It was hard work, but I picked up on it real quick. In a sense, I had become Tank Jr.
Yeah.
But as we continued to train, I found that there were some definite differences between us. I brought the hard training work ethic to the relationship. I worked my butt off, but Tank was always looking for the easy way out. He partied all the time. Tank's attitude was, I'm going to the fight. I'm going to kick people's ass, then go out, get drunk, and fight some more. He was a fighter, no martial artist. His style was that of a bar brawler.
Tank. Tito really worked hard, Tank.
Yeah. It kind of crushed my heart, because it was kind of that special, tight relationship. Like
he was Tank Jr. He was Tank Jr.
Yeah, I used to call him Junior. And I go, hey, Junior, and we would sit down on the stretching mats, the wrestling mats after practice, and we'd have long, touching moments about life. And I would try to steer him the right way. That guy it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you can get anybody over. You can push a fucking bag of donuts and people will think they're tough. If you sit there and say, oh, that bag of donuts, man, let me tell you something. It's fucking, you should see his tiger claw and his chocolate bar, man. That fucking, he's unbelievable. It's like, oh yeah, the tiger claw, man. And the next thing they spew out bullshit. Tito's never been anything. He's never been smart. He's never been tough. He's made up lies. He takes snippets from cliches and he doesn't even know the notion behind them or anything like that. And then I believe like his ex-wife and her family and all that stuff just filled his head up with bullshit. And he fucking believed, but he didn't understand it. Like, oh, Dana's ripping you off. You know how many people think they're Donald Trump in the business world when once you start making money fighting? Oh no. And in one ear, out the other, because they're fucking morons. But not with Tito. It goes into fucking one ear, goes through this fucking discombobulating fucking haze. And then he spews out the other end of it like, oh, I know what you're doing. You're ripping me off. Hey, why don't you take a look around and see what the fucking demand is for fucking a moron like yourself to be the fucking heavyweight champion. They made up a weight class for you. You should thank your fucking lucky stars.
True.
Shut your mouth and go, woohoo, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, Dana. Fucking, you're awesome. I would go, woohoo. I'd be kissing that guy's ass so hard if I was it. Right? Like if I was in that situation.
Hey, dude, they're giving you softball after softball after softball.
Yeah,
well, they've got Chuck fighting all the murderers.
I heard that they put like $2 million of PR money into him.
Jesus.
Like going on the shows and all the bullshit. I don't know if that's true or not true, but even just to say it is bad enough. For it to be that bad that you have to say something like that, someone else says something like that, wow. What kind of it's amazing to me. We can sit here and talk about how dumb that guy is till you're blue in the face. And it's not going to change. He's running out of options. He's going to be.
Well, he moved cities. He moved cities because he ran out of options in California.
Of course, and the Jenna Jameson house was getting repoed, I guess, and not repoed, but she was taking control of that back over with, and that's why he left. And then salt in the wound, everybody in the fucking city was like going, who fucking got a hold of the mayor pro temporary? I think that's what it stands for, because he was. But he's like a whatever. One of the biggest giggles I had was a reel, and I never paid much attention. Are you all right? It fell. Okay. Yeah, no, it was his girlfriend, and she adapted one of the reels of. It's so nice to go out with a big badass tough guy. I'm paraphrasing the thing, and she's all, "Yeah, that's right," and I'm like, going, "Oh my God, who the fuck?" You know who you're talking about? You're talking about Tito. Tito's not some big tough guy. He's not some big smart guy. He's a fucking moron. And he's a con man. People buy it hook, line, and sinker.
Right. Well, we got more for you, Tank. This is the book review.
We got a couple more.
We got a couple more chapters, Tank. I know. This is heart-wrenching stuff. I know it's difficult for you to recall the past, and I know you feel like connecting with Tito again, obviously, based on your sentiments.
It hits my jealousy bone.
Yeah. Wait, no, Tank, we got a couple good ones. We got
a couple. Okay, we're coming up to the point where Tito reaches out for help, but I think it's important to tell the story about how Tito got into trouble. So, yes. I'd gone to a house party in Huntington Beach with a few of my friends. Things started getting rowdy, and at one point, my friend got hit in the face with a beer bottle by some skinhead guy. I stepped in the middle to defend my friend, and the skinhead tried to take me down. I got him in a chokehold while three of his friends were trying to hit me with beer bottles. I kept choking the guy till he was pretty much out. I finally let him go. He was unconscious. I stomped on him a couple of times, then turned around, and everybody was yelling at me to leave the party. So I took off for the front door. There's a helicopter chase. They end up catching him hiding in the bushes. So I called Tank and asked him if he could loan me $1,500 for an attorney. He said, no problem. He would help me out.
Good guy.
Well, a week went by, and the attorney I hired called and said he needed the money. So I called Tank and asked if it was possible to get the money right away. I think he must have been drunk when I called him, because he said, I ain't your fucking dad. I'm not going to take care of you. This ain't no charity. I was shocked. I said, but you said you were going to help me out. He said, fuck that. I was screwed.
Tank.
Your memories of that occasion.
No, Tank, you can't do that to your friend.
Well,
yeah, that's your friend.
See, I told you this before, and don't let me forget about this. I got it over here. But I think this was after the check in the glove compartment incident. And I'm pretty sure it is. Like I said, this is 30 fucking years ago. I don't remember going to the details of going to the bathroom 3 days ago. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I sat down, I did this. I don't fucking remember that kind of stuff, especially this kind of stuff. Now, about the dad part, that kind of rings a bell, kind of like I said, I don't know about
might
this
be true.
Monday.
Yeah. Might be true.
Yeah, but so that rings a little bit of a bell. But at that point, I already knew about this check. And I'm like, and if he was calling me up for money, I must have already signed my deal with professional wrestling. And it was kind of like things changed overnight for me, you know. I went around from driving into a really nice car and going places and doing things. So let's call Tank up. He'll give us some money. He's got it. None of them, I didn't say anything to anybody about what happened with my professional wrestling world. And so they were all just wondering, what the fuck? What did he do? What, he won the lotto or something? Anyways, I was like, the audacity, the gall of him to call up and ask for money now? Now he's going to ask. Because I didn't say
he doesn't really ask. He expects it. Like, he really expects it.
I didn't say anything, so maybe he thought to cash a check and it flew by unnoticed.
Right. And
so now he's going to go in for another double dip. And I'm like, what? This is a couple times on the phone? Well, that's when Paul found out about the check. And I was like, you know, I don't know what Tito's thinking. I ain't going to fucking help that guy out for anything. And I go, you remember when we were leaving Bakersfield and he was sitting in my truck? I go, you know what he was doing in there? And then I told him about the check made out to fucking Marty Simmons. And Paul's just sitting there like, oh, man. Like, I'm like, yeah. What was the quote for the thing that they don't trust anybody or whatever?
It doesn't pay off.
It doesn't pay off. And he had that look on his face like, oh, my God, he didn't. And I'm like, yeah. And I go, now he wants me to fucking help him? I go, maybe I would have helped him if he would have done that, but fuck him. Good, go to jail.
Yeah. Well, I think about this. You know, of course he's not in the wrong. Ended up beating up, well, me really. It's got to be a skinhead.
Yeah. Well, right. He's got,
and then he gets like, thrown out of the party.
McCartney does that. Yeah. McCartney does that with his arguments. Like, oh, he yelled at my wife. Oh, I had to stand up like a man. Just the morals of it. And so, like, it's the same argument.
It's a grandstand. It's like a grandstand. Yeah.
Yes, same kind of thing.
Little soapbox. Yeah.
I beat up a skinhead. I wasn't just beating up some dirtbag. He was a skinhead racist.
Yeah.
And it's like, shut up. And I go, what does he think I'm his dad? I'm gonna fucking give him money? Why don't you fucking steal another check? And then Paul's like, what are you talking about?
Think about this. He gets thrown out of the party. The whole party wants him to leave.
Right.
You know, like.
Well, you know, there's this thing about this. Okay. I don't know if you're going to get to this, and we'll get to this, but about me blackballing him.
What's up next, Tank? Stop it.
That's next.
Yeah, come on, Tank.
Well, I told you we're prepared. The guy circled the pages.
There we go. Okay. By all rights, I should have been having my first professional paying fight in the UFC in 1998. But that was when Tank decided to stab me in the back. Suddenly, the UFC didn't want me because Tank Abbott said he would not fight in the UFC if they used me.
Tank.
They wouldn't book me because of Tank. And that went well into 1998. He carried enough weight at that time to be able to get away with that shit. He shafted me because of what I said. I was blackballed by the UFC. Yeah, I was angry at Tank and the UFC. I was really frustrated because I wanted to fight. So I took my first professional fight, and this time there was no excuses. He talks about doing like warehouse fights, but
wait,
the blackball.
I think that was Paul.
Wait, 1 second.
He fought in a gymnasium at Paul's high school.
Wait, 2 seconds. So Joey, did he say like I said what I said? Like he said something to make Tank angry and blackball him? Did he mention the words that came out of his mouth that would have precipitated that?
Nope.
So Tank, that's okay. That's the reason I don't like this book. Okay. Yeah. So which I didn't read.
Everybody, I like, even when I wrote my novel, everybody's got and I tried to be as honest as I possibly can. It's just something that bothers me. I can't smooth somebody like, oh, hey, Dana, you're the greatest guy, whatever you want to. I'm like, fucking, you're just like me. I'm going to talk to you just like me. I'm not going to kiss your ass. Even though, because I feel like I'm lying if I'm working, if you will. And so those days were, again, a long time ago, but I give a rat's ass if Tito fought. I'm the one that got him his first fight in there. This is what the thing was too. His wife / whatever girlfriend at the time was like, oh, he's jealous of you, telling Tito that I'm jealous of him. A fucking nobody that's fucking fighting in a weight class that doesn't exist on the UFC. And I'm jealous of him because Tito is so fucking
cool,
charismatic and all this shit. And he believed it. Yeah. Well, at that time, just so you know there, Tito, because you're probably watching, or somebody that's watching this will tell you. Back in the day, do you remember there used on Main Street, there was very few bars on there. There was maybe 4 or 5. The big one was kind of nightclub-ish, and it was called Hurricanes. Might still be there, I don't know. But it was in the parking garage side, and everybody'd park in the garage, and then you walk in on the second level. I went there with, going in there, and it was like I was a superstar, and I was like, fuck. I'm not, whatever. I wasn't in it for fame and all this bullshit. So this girl was getting off of work. She goes, come on, let's go across the way to Aloha Grill. It was called Hula Grill at the time. And the guy owned it, and everybody in there was just a little bar. It was cool. No one was, whatever. So Isaac decides to call me up and says, hey, man, I'm going to be coming out there. And I want to come by and see you. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll meet you at Hula Grill. And I had pretty much run of the place. I was friends with the owner. I'd sit in the corner and, people leave me alone. I had my little spot. Ended up spending a lot of time and money in there. But so I tell Paul and Eddie, and I'm saying, hey, man, the fucking head guys, like from the UFC, are coming here, as a kid. And I was like, woo, fuck. The boss is coming. The guys that sign my checks are coming. This is great. So that doesn't take long to go around the little circle. And I go there, and I told him to meet me at Aloha Grill or Hula Grill. And I'm sitting in my corner, and I had this little corner chair, and there's a table with chairs, and people could sit around me and sitting there drinking. And David comes in, sits next door to me, and then directly to be beyond the bar was a table with 2 chairs, so 2 people could sit there. And so David's talking to me, and I don't know David from Adam. All I know is he's part of the company that I'm fighting for, and it was like a big deal, especially in those days. Like, woo. Now it's like, what was I thinking? But we're just sitting there talking, breaking bread, fucking drinking drinks, laughing, having a good time. Guess who comes fucking strutting in? Dumber than a fucking just a fucking ding dong. Just like and he comes over and he sits at the table that's on the other side of the bar, you know, there's like before stools. And he sits there and he starts chiming in. Like, hey man, what's going on? And I'm like going, looking at him like, don't you got somewhere to go, man? Scram, get the fuck out of here. Trying to fucking have a semi-business meeting, get along, have cocktails with this guy, and you're fucking chiming in every 2 to 10 seconds with dumbass stuff going, hey, 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 hitting him on the shoulder. And
he kind of
did. Yeah. And Isaacs is looking at me like with his eyes.
David Isaacs. David Isaacs. Yeah.
He's looking at me like going, who the fuck is this guy? You know, like he knew, like, doesn't he have any couth? Doesn't he have any fucking wherewithal, like, leave you alone? And I'm like, hey, Tito, yeah. Like, one answer, you know, back and forth. Like, yeah. And I'm like trying to correspond with David and get along. Sitting there. And then all of a sudden, a couple cocktails in, the manager from Hurricanes comes walking over, and you can see Hurricanes across Main Street. He comes walking across the Main Street. He walks up the steps, see his head on a swivel, sees the whole 9 yards, walks up to the fucking corner. And I never really liked going into Hurricanes. It was not a big deal. So I was like going, what the fuck's this guy coming up here for? His name was Mitch. And I'm like, he's a fucking dick. But anyways, so he's like, hey, man. And I'm all, yeah, what's up? And he's all, tell your friend to give the golf clubs back. And I'm like, eh? They're like, what? And Tito is shrinking. Like he's being dehydrated.
Oh, no, he got caught.
Yeah. And I think Paul was there, and, you know, and like David's like head on a swivel, like, what the fuck's going on? And it was like he was part of this fucking group of scumbags that just stole it. And like, you know, he's a Harvard attorney in a suit.
Dude, yep. Isaac.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He's like a $2,000 an hour attorney type. Like, he's just a brilliant mind.
Yes. And he's like looking at me like, what the fuck's this? And I'm like going, what the fuck's this in my head? And Paul's like sitting there, and everybody's all looking around at each other like, oh my God.
Oh, I'm embarrassed for him.
Yeah. And so Paul gets up and is like, oh, hey, yeah, come on, Tito. And so they kind of slither off, and the manager leaves. He goes up and tells the guy behind the bar, which was no big deal. His name was Timbo. He's like, hey, everybody. And so Paul and Tito go over and miraculously find the golf clubs.
Oh, God.
And instead of turning them into Hurricanes, they went down to the gate shack where the parking was, the garage parking. And Tito turned them into lost and found. And so
it's a veteran thieving move, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a very calculate somebody that's been caught numerous times. Yeah.
So then Paul comes back and says, yeah, he turned him back into
Yeah, they're in Lost and Found. Turns out Tito didn't have him. But Tito did find him, though.
No, he pulled him out of the car or whatever that they were in.
Jesus.
And so that was his first real
Joey, bookmark this for David Isaac's interview part 2. We got to hear we got to hear his side of this. I can't wait.
And then there was another person that was associated with the UFC at a different level, and they had an apartment down there, down towards the 20s, and for some reason. And Tito was always like networking. Like when I was on Friends, they got a hold of me at the very last moment to do Friends. So they're like going, who do you want to do Friends with? And like, can you get somebody? And I'm like, fuck. I go, everybody.
Big Ale. You got to go Big Ale.
They're working, they're this and that. And they go, you can't get anybody? I ended up getting a bartender that I used to go party with in Sunset Beach, not with, but at his bar. He went, and then I got Tito, and I can't remember who else. So Tito's at Friends, networking, trying to be like a star. Like, how do I get on here? And they're like going, yeah, guy, you're just you're not even a fucking extra. You're an extra of the extras.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, well, I'd be a star. Maybe he was doing his glue, or I don't know. But anyways, he was doing that jack off stuff. But so he's at this party that this business that they were doing business with the UFC on the TV and distributors, that kind of stuff. So he ends up going to their apartment. And you know those goofy ass bicycles with the banana seats and the like 8 fingers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like just a little get together during the afternoon. And so the persons or whoever called up Tito to see if they wanted to come over. I guess. I don't know.
And you know what it is? Bring some Coke. Who are you going to do? We know this extra guy that really wants to try hard. Bring some Coke. Yeah.
No, it was glue.
Oh, yeah. Elmer's. Bring the dry cement.
Yeah. So Tito's over there partying and whatever. I guess it's time to leave. And I guess Tito really wanted those bicycles. Yeah, so he took those bicycles and he took off riding. And the person that was there had to call his apartment up and say, Tito, bring the bicycles back. And so he brought them back, obviously.
To the Lost and Found?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I found these at the park.
And so that's the kind of relationship buildup that they have with Tito. And God knows with Thomas taken off of the tether, his brilliant business mind talking to them about Tito's, what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. And so if I'm a guessing man, I'm not the guy that blackballed you, Tito. I could give a rat's ass of what you did. I don't give whatever, man. Go on and do it. But maybe your behavior and your decisions to fucking go by Lost and Found and get called out right in front of everybody and everything else, that might have something to do with it. Not me. I didn't care what you did, how you did it, or anything. For him to say all this goofy ass shit, and then I'm off wrestling this same thing. And I would go, what is wrong with you people? Why? Because Dana's pumping all this fucking money into this kid who is a dumbass. I don't understand Dana's reasoning, and I don't really care. I'm off in a whole nother fucking world. And he would go, "Oh, he's just jealous of you. He's just jealous. He's jealous because now he's the
Because he's jealous. He's a hater. He's a hater.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's the Huntington Beach bad boy.
You know, Tito, he really liked your nickname. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's what we heard. That was an interview
100%
one.
true.
That was an interview one. Yeah, we asked you about that. Yeah. Joey, we got more.
There's one more Tank mention, basically beating the same drum about how they blackballed him because of Tank. But Tank finally goes off to wrestling, and the owner of Spanky's, Ron Haskins. Did you have any affiliation with him at all?
No.
Okay, Ron Haskins starts giving him money to just start showing up at UFC events, introducing himself to John Peretti, and try to like circumvent your influence, and that's how he gets back in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
After that, it's just a lot of Jenna Jameson stuff and a lot of cheating on the first wife stuff. So that's all of the Tank mentions for this one.
He's what? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, whatever. My novel was a novel for reasons that have nothing to do with bullshit getting yourself over or sniffing glue. But are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, can you imagine like to have a relationship with your mom after putting that in a book? Let's just say it's true. Like you're gonna put that in a book?
All sorts of stuff like that.
Jesus.
What about sniffing glue? Period. Why would you?
Here, did you ever meet his mom?
I was working out in the weight room at Golden West, and they were having wrestling meet going on, and between sets, I would walk over to the match and watch. You know, whoever was wrestling, I'd watch a little bit of it and then go back and do my set, whatever. At that time, there was a woman, and Tito was wrestling, and she was going, Ortiz! And I'm like, God, what the fuck is that? And they were gone. And, you know, overactive, over cheering mom, whatever. And I was like, God, who the fuck? What the fuck? And someone told me, might have been Paul, that's his mom. And I go, oh, that explains it all. But yeah, that would be as close. I couldn't tell you what she looked like or anything. But wow, really? Yeah. Like you're gonna say my mom was a fucking prostitute? Yeah, right?
Oh my God, I can't even imagine that.
We wish him a recovery. I hope things go well in the hospital. I really do.
I think this is.
I wish I could say that, but I don't. And I mean, you know what? And you know,
You have a good heart, Tank.
I hate
Tank, you have a good heart. I don't care what anybody says.
And I can't wait to get into McCartny and his, oh, it was okay to take steroids at the time. It's never been okay to take steroids. And it wasn't accepted. Trying to, and that's in his little book that the guy circled for me. The reptile guy. And the LAPD was okay with it, and it was common knowledge. Everybody did it. No, it wasn't common knowledge. I've been working out in weight rooms, like I said, since I was 8, 9, 10 years old. And steroids has always been a big connotation of pussy.
It's a no.
You are a pussy if you take steroids. Period. And all these guys now, they got fucked up hips and their fucking backs pinned together and they can barely walk. And you got fucking your neck hurts and the whole 9 yards. Oh well, maybe you shouldn't have been fucking taking whatever makes your head grow that big. And I joke around. I'm joking around saying that his head's so fucking big that his neck couldn't support it.
But you know what's weird? He's got such a big head, but I don't think his brain is very big.
No, for sure. Well, probably even worse because it bounces around inside his skull.
I think they call it, was it like waterhead? I think is what they call it.
Hydrocephalus.
And how do you, whatever. So like when you're sitting there crying, and you know what, everything that I've gone through, few, if any, could fucking endure the pain that I went through. And you want to know what? I never fucking made a fucking crybaby fucking reel. Oh, fuck. I feel good. I'm gonna die. What do you have any? What a fucking narcissistic jack off to go. Oh, can you tell me something to help me? I can't take the pain. Well, you should have thought about that a lot long ago. A lot longer ago. Whatever. I can't. My brain. Anyways, unbelievable. It's like
take here. Let's just be honest here. Based on what Joey has read, can we both say that both of you and I might buy his book because there's got to be some really good stuff in there and we're interested?
I can't say that.
Well, maybe our listeners will go out there and buy his book.
And don't feel like you got ripped off. You've been forewarned. Like, there's no way that guy laid pen to paper for any of that stuff. Are you kidding me?
I'm 5 chapters into Big John McCarthy's book.
You say McCartney?
I'm saying McCartney.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. Like, Big John has got absolutely no problem putting somebody on blast. Like, relishes in it. Like, he really does. And he has certainly put your name in his mouth really, really often in ways that are very unflattering, especially in his book. And I see Big John occasionally, and it's like, you can't blast somebody in a book and then like be pissed about them responding to it.
It's fair.
That he's a pussy. You know what? I can't wait for you to finish the book because I'm going to tell you right now. Water polo? What a fucking pussy. I don't care what you say. When I was growing up and when I was in school and when everything, no one ever said, watch out for the water polo players.
No, they didn't.
Maybe you get the football guys, don't fuck with those guys. Oh, definitely don't fuck with the wrestling team. But when you bring up water polo, watch it the fuck out. Cross the street, walk around them. Don't go by Big John. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear about his book. And he talks about me in there. And he always talking about me. This, and it does not bother me. He calls me an alcoholic and I was drunk all the time. No, I wasn't drunk all the time, John, and it doesn't bother me what you say. You're more, in my mind, a drug addict by taking steroids. I mean, you say they were legal at the time. I don't, because a doctor prescribed it. What ailment did you have? They call it hypogonadism.
Tiny balls. Yeah.
Yeah, your balls aren't working. So you were a candy ass this whole time, and then you had to go in and get steroids, or did you misrepresent yourself and go to a crook of a doctor to give you drugs that you don't need?
Well, these are all things.
We're going to
different topic. I don't want people to confuse that with Tito's book. I'm really concerned.
No, this was the Huffing Glue book.
That was from a different book. The Huffing Glue book was the first 2 hours.
Yes.
Do you seriously, like, he obviously listens to these people.
He does.
And he takes these cliches and he doesn't get the point of the cliche.
And he forgets the cliche mid-cliche.
Yeah, but he forgets what it's supposed to be about. The notion of it. He's so dumb, and he plugs in his thing. This is like, oh my God, like the violins and the cheese.
He's reaching for those grapes.
He's like a goldfish. Like he's got the attention span of a goldfish.
Yeah, there's whatever. It's easy. Like I said, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. And I would like to think, as a human being, that I feel bad about it, but I don't. It's fun, banter back and forth, and it's good to laugh at. And I can't wait. I keep always looking on the corner for my next taco shop, Tito's Taco Shop, to open up here in Arizona, out here in Scottsdale. I'll be the first one in the door.
Tank Abbott, you are a gentleman, you are an author, and you are a fighter.
Oh, you know what though? I do want to bring up these things, and then I know it's at the end of the thing. So
no, it's okay. Go ahead. Absolutely,
please don't cut it out. I know you guys can cut it out.
No, we don't edit anything, really, unless we're asked. We don't.
All right. So, the one thing, I misspoke, and I don't like these things out there. And one, when you were telling me about, I don't even remember the guy's name, and his father, the big guy, had a fight, and my dad talked to him, and you said that I talked to him. The fuck was his name? Was it Vegas or something like that?
Okay, was it the head stomping?
Strickland.
Sean Strickland. Yes.
No,
Sean Strickland and his father.
I'm going to get to Strickland, but
okay.
This guy was a big fighter back in the day, like a big guy. What the fuck was his name? You're the one that brought it up.
The one that stomped Frank
Matua.
Frank Mir?
It has nothing to do with me. I was after the fight.
Wes Sims.
Wes Sims.
Yeah. Wes Sims. Now, I think that I might have had something to say now. Like I said, this is like 30 years ago, and like can't tell you details of going to the bathroom 3 days ago. So I do think there's something floating in my head, like, yeah, I might have had that conversation with him. So I want that to be said that,
Well, Wes doesn't lie about stuff like that, and it really meant a lot to him.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so it probably happened, and I'm sorry I don't remember it, but I had things going on. And then with the Strickland thing, at first I understood him saying Strickland, whatever. He's obviously brash and kind of it could be a punkish annoyance. But when he said JD's Landing, I understood him saying that he bounced into me at a bar in Las Vegas, and I was like, no, wasn't me. I don't hang out in Vegas, and I don't hang out in little bars in Vegas when I go. So that was that. And then I know you guys took down the Schultz thing, but for those people that were out there that saw the little bit of it, when I was talking about Paul Herrera, and I feel that he got an unfair shake with the Goodbridge knockout, and that's how people remember him. But Paul is a tough man, and I do believe on the up and up, not what they say or what goes down, that it was, they knew what he was going to do. They had a tape or something. I believe they had a tape. And go ahead.
I think, Joey, Paula Romero, that was Bob Meyerowitz's secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get her on. Let's get her on.
I haven't seen her in 20 years, but
let's get Paula on. Yeah.
And
see what she is.
So I got some questions. That'll be one of them.
Yeah, but so I do believe that. And then, you said, and so I feel that Paul kind of got like the short end of the stick on that. And that's what people know him as. Oh, that poor guy. And I was like going, no, man, Paul's a tough guy. And I was getting into the fact of his high crotch and that he takes down everybody. And then you said, oh, what about Mark Schultz? Thereabout, paraphrasing. And I got caught in a pickle. I don't like talking bad about people I trained with, except for Tito, because he's just full of bullshit. But Mark was a tough guy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I know because I remember that he didn't take Paul down. And it was kind of like a thing that, did you get him today? Kind of thing, kind of like a ha-ha rib. And Paul never could say yes. So obviously Mark's a world and Olympic champion, and he's not going to get taken down by Paul.
Oh, I don't think that's, I think you're reading too much into that.
Well, it's something to me because I don't like talking about what happens in a wrestling room,
and especially people that you like. Yes,
right. And so, just to be clear, obviously, Mark's accolades speak for themselves. I mean, he's a world and Olympic champion. I mean, say no more.
Yeah.
And
one of my heroes.
Yeah, no, he's a cool guy too. And I watched that video you guys did or the podcast, and I just popped a big smile. And I remember those times, and it was back kind of because it was innocent. All I had fought in was UFC 6 and none of the fucking bullshit that goes along with it. It was just going somewhere, the newness of it, the innocence of it. It was all about fighting and just Mark and the whole situation. It was a great time in life, and it kind of, it was good to see him. And, and that's, I'm trying to think. And we got Wes Sims, and then also
breaking your hand in Japan.
Yeah,
I think we kind of got that.
Yeah, we get that in the front
Japan, and that kind of was a bleed over into Big John. So if you bring it out, it's probably not in his book. But talk about that guy being biased and corrupt and a crook. He was biased for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Sakuraba was kicking all the Gracie's asses. And that guy that he fought, the Conan guy or whatever, was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. And John goes jumping in the middle for no fucking reason other than he was losing. And then just another part of how that guy is a terrible referee. He takes his personal feelings and thoughts and he inserts them into his job, which is, first of all, who the fuck? I see he's doing like advertisements for his show, or you can go learn how
reffing
to
school.
Be referee. Who the fuck wants to be a referee? Like, oh, Dad, I found my life's calling. I want to be a fucking pinstriped jackass in a fucking no holds barred fight. Are you fucking kidding me? There's not too many Big John McCartnys out there that fucking want to fucking that. Like I said, narcissism is like jealousy. Everybody's got a little bit of it, but that guy's a card carrying narcissist with a T on the end of it. And he's just a terrible human being. And him and Tito, other than they're two peas in a pod. I mean, I can't believe they haven't smoked glue together.
You and Joey, and I know we're obviously wrapping up. There was a passage that I think you missed that Tito talks about his Metzger fight, where he said, I was associated with Tank's crew, so the referee was against me. I think you missed that one. And essentially what it does is it confirms that Big John had issues with Tank. And it was bleeding over into he believed into his own career.
And he says that, right? That John, in his book, because
the stand-up,
the reptile guy.
Hey, can we read it?
Unfortunately, the perception of Team Tank was that we were thug guys who talked shit and started trouble. And because I was on Team Tank, the referee automatically didn't like me much. He stopped the match to check a cut on Metzger, which they never did at the time. They restarted it. Tito gets choked out.
So instead of on a bottom, they stood him up.
Yeah.
And well, you say what you want to say and do what you want to do. But when I was fighting, and I like to fight, I didn't go there because I was going to be famous or anything like that. I didn't give a fuck about people knowing who I am. None of that shit. I just wanted to go fight and not go to jail. And so McCartney is sitting there, fucking, he's a narcissist, fucking wants to be famous. Who wants to be famous for being a referee? Are you fucking, what are you, a jack off? Well, why don't you go fucking fight? I'll tell you what, I believe it or not, I would come out of retirement and fight Big John McCarthy in Saudi Arabia because they won't, I have 2 organ grafts. They won't let me fight here. But I would fight that guy. I would stuff that guy so fast it wouldn't be funny. He's going to do his little jujitsu with his shaved legs. Maybe I make sure he doesn't have any stubble so I don't get any cuts on my face.
That's our clip this week.
Yeah, Joey, Andy, that's our clip.
Clip it.
There we go. We're gonna collaborate with you on that one so people can see.
Okay. That's fine. But that guy is such a what a candy ass. And don't tell me he's been putting out reels talking like he's a tough guy and shit. That guy, are you kidding me? How come you didn't fight? And don't say, oh, because Horion didn't want me to. If Horion said, oh, hey, don't fight because fucking Hoist is going to fight, I'd go, fuck your brother. I'm going to fuck him up too. That's how fighters think. Not like, oh, well, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because you're not a fighter. You're a cream puff fucking water polo guy. That would be like the biggest insult of my life to be called a water polo guy. I used to see him, and then there's pictures in the book that they sent me, and it says polo on there. I thought it was like Ralph Lauren polo. That's what I thought he was wearing. I didn't know. If I would have known those were water polo shirts, oh my God. I remember in high school in the gymnasium, and one of these little fucking bebop fucks in the Speedos goes walking by, and I go, oh, you're a fucking water polo player? And they go, hey, we don't know, man. We're fucking tough. You don't know what goes on underneath the water. Kick you in the balls and all this. You kick me in the fucking balls and I'll punch your fucking lights out. And the guy's like fucking like, oh my God. He took off scurrying down the fucking way with his towel. And they're going, and that you're like, oh my God. And I guess his son's going to be the next generation referee. Listen, if you guys, who am I to say what you want to do? If you want to fucking go on to be a fucking pinstripe jackass, go right ahead, and you can point your finger and go, are you ready? And pretend in your head that you're tough. But go to his little, first of all, I would be so embarrassed to say, I'm going to referee school. Oh my God. And then secondly, go there, take as much knowledge as you possibly can, and say, I will never do that. And then you might you might be an okay ref.
Do the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. Just ignore everything he said. Well, I'm so glad to see that he wasn't at the White House. I was like, oh my God, there is some fucking a little bit of sense in Dana, like not to put that fool in a backstabber that goes to running the Bellator to try to be Mr. Referee. What is he? I don't even know what
commentator there.
Commentator, yeah. Oh, yeah. And first of all, what's your credentials of being a fighter? you were a water polo guy,
and
that went and took jujitsu classes. And let me tell you something. Just because you take jujitsu does not make you tough, you dumbasses. You go out there and fucking go piss the wrong guy off and see what happens to you. Go do your old ass scoot on the asphalt and say, oh, whoa, fuck, that was a fucking kick in my face. And now he's punching me. I'm tapping, stop. No, we're just beginning. Fucking
Tank.
Well, what do you, 2 weeks? Tank. We'll do the McCarthy one.
Well, I got to get through this book, dude. And right. Dude, some of the book I can really relate to. Honestly, I really can. Like, there's certain instances on a police job, I get it. You know, and there's other parts like about his dad. I can also relate to that stuff being the son of a police officer. But then there's other things where it's just like it's hard. Like, come on, man.
It's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
Well,
I'll read the reviews.
You know, with the way he argues is absolutely foolish. It's so fallacious in nature. He starts off with his argument, and then he goes immediately to when he's losing. He frames up a straw man. And once that kind of fucking
he definitely does that. He definitely like frames up like, well, let me give you an example of something that he's kind of right on, but it doesn't really have much to do with the topic.
Straw man.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Fallacy. And
he's just taking up space.
Then he shifts it up into a red herring, and that he throws red herrings around like a harbor seal. It's like, hey, man, we're talking about a fight right here, not fucking me blowing snot bubbles out of my nose. I was doing that because I got choked for 5 fucking minutes. And guess what? In the fighting fucking, if that wouldn't have happened, in the fighting's meeting, where he laughed when I held the gloves up and I go, can I wear his gloves? And his big goofy ass is like, I didn't realize that Meyerowitz gave him the power to make those decisions. He's like, you want to wear the gloves? Go right ahead. I immediately started laughing, and I go, see, this dumbass doesn't know anything about fighting. I told Dave Thomas that. I go, he doesn't realize you're going to hurt your fucking hands the first fucking time you go punch somebody. Because he's never been in a fight in his life in the streets. And so it's a true statement. And then he fucking said later in that meeting, I will not interfere in the fucking fight. This is way before rules or anything. I'm the one who came fish hooks, and no, Tito didn't know what gloves were. Tito didn't exist. He wasn't even around. And fucking I brought the gloves, and then that goes down, and he's there, and I forgot where I was going with this. With the gloves. Oh, the point he said in the thing, I will not stop the fight. No matter what happens, unless the fighter's injured and cannot make the decision on his own, I will not interfere and stop the fight. He made that abundantly clear. He did it 2 or 3 times. I think twice. I'll say twice. But I think he did it 3 times when I fought Oleg. Yeah. Why? Oh, read a little further. I didn't like Tank. He said he was a street fighter, and this was supposed to be martial arts. Full on fucking bad guy trying to hold me down.
Is for another podcast.
Save it for the next one.
Yeah.
There's the teaser. Wait.
That's the teaser.
Love you, Tank. Tank, when we're in Phoenix.
Wait till you hear what I have to say about McCartney.
When we're in Phoenix, I can't wait to get my picture taken with you.
Okay.
I can't. I'm fucking serious, dude.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Joey.
Good night, guys. Tank, thanks again.
Take care.
All right, my man. I hope you guys enjoyed that.